10 South African students who were studying in Ukraine arrived back at OR Tambo International Airport this morning. It's expected 13 more will be returning over the weekend, with others returning next week. It's been 2 weeks since Russia invaded Ukraine, and thousands of people from across the globe have been fleeing that country. Aspen has partnered with the Department of International Relations to evacuate South African students who are caught up in the war. Our reporter Heidi Giokos is following that story for us at OR and is joining us now for an update. Heidi, good afternoon. You managed to speak to one of the students who returned earlier. What did you learn? What did they tell you?
Yes, indeed, Bradan. So what we do understand is that 10 South Africans who managed to flee Ukraine managed to get into neighboring countries. What we do understand, they got into Poland, and then through this partnership with Aspen and the Department of International Relations, they were able to get to Paris, and then from Paris to South Africa. They landed at about 11 o'clock this morning. We only managed to see 2 of the students out of the 10, and I think it had a lot to do with how traumatized these students are. They were in a country where bombs were going off almost every 5 minutes. One of the students actually expressed to us. So they were very overwhelmed. The one student was about to speak to the media and then decided not to, as he said he's too traumatized, it's too difficult for him to engage. So what we do understand is that students, of course, had it really tough there, many of them almost completing their studies, nearing the end of their studies, and they of course had to flee Ukraine because nobody knows how long this war is going to last and how volatile the situation is actually going to remain in Ukraine. We did ask one of the students, she's a 25-year-old medical student who managed to get onto that flight, what the situation was in Ukraine, and she made it very clear that she does not want to engage on that aspect, as she's still very traumatized. She didn't want to speak about her experience when she got to the Ukrainian border trying to flee into neighboring countries, to just get out of Ukraine, because we did hear of those reports of the mistreatment, especially of black people, where the people at the border were just not treating them properly, not helping them, not assisting them. And she said, I don't want to speak about that. What I do want to say is that the South African government needs to further help those that are stuck in Ukraine, be it South African or not, because war is going on. You have women that are pregnant, you have mothers, you have children, you have families that have been completely displaced. So it's been very traumatic for them, and we managed to get some word from this 25-year-old student. Let's listen in.
I don't want to talk about that right now. I feel like I was still traumatized by the whole experience. I don't want to live that form of trauma. Those are not the questions I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is how can South Africa help Ukraine at this form of a crisis? How do we help the people there? Because people are being killed. I know people who have been killed, people who are targeted. It is a very serious situation. How can we help bring peace in that land? I'm not interested in answering questions just so everyone knows about my trauma, what has happened, what I experienced, what was it like. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about how can South Africa help Ukrainians become, like Ukraine, become a place of safety at this moment. But thank you guys so much. I just want to go home. Thank you.
Just one South African student there speaking earlier to reporters at OR Tambo International Airport, ending that update from Heidi Giokos at OR Tambo.